Hare Krishna. Good evening, devotees. Welcome to this Gita Medisi program.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. My audio and presentation is visible, Prabhu?
Yeah, fine, Ji. Fine. It was good.
Yeah, thank you. And today we are the concluding chapter of Bhagavad-gita, chapter 18. By Krishna's mercy, we were able to come up to the last section of the Bhagavad-gita. So today's chapter is a very lengthy chapter, we can say. It has 78 verses. So basically, Krishna is going to summarize the teachings. Krishna is going to explain what is meant by renunciation. And Krishna is also going to explain what are the effects of the three modes of material nature on our consciousness and on our activities. And Krishna is also going to talk about Brahman realization. And Krishna is also going to talk about Sharanagati, surrender. By surrendering unto Krishna, what happens? He frees us from all sinful reactions. And then we get promoted, go back to home, back to God, spiritual world. It's a very beautiful chapter. It's the lengthiest chapter in Bhagavad-gita, chapter 7. It has 78 verses. The second lengthiest chapter is chapter 2, which has 72 verses. So we are going to cover today a lot of topics which was covered earlier, as well as some new instructions also from Krishna. So let us go into this today's class. So this course is based on the teachings of his Bhagavad-gita as it is, based on the teachings of his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So before going into this chapter, let us pray to Lord Sri Krishna, thanking him for allowing us to receive this knowledge all these weeks. And today we have come to this final conclusive chapter of Bhagavad-gita, so that we take his blessings, that we may be able to understand the teachings and also have the strength to practice these teachings in our day-to-day life. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dati Sabdantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavadebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namao Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarine Ugam Karoti Vachalam Pangun Langete Girim Yatkripata Mande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramanandamadam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So last week we discussed chapter 17, which is actually entitled The Divisions of Faith. That means the elaborate discussion from chapter 14 is chapter 17. Krishna discusses how these three modes are having impact on our austerity, on our food, on our faith, on our happiness. So all those things we discussed in chapter 17 is called lifestyle management. Okay, Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. So in that chapter, we basically discussed with an acronym called FACE. FACE means, because Arjuna begins with a question, somebody who does not follow the scripture, but he will worship according to his own whims. Is he coming in Sattva-guna, or Rajoguna, or Tamoguna? Will he achieve perfection? That was the question in the beginning of 17th chapter. Then Krishna speaks how one's faith is influenced based on the three modes of material nature. Somebody in Sattva-guna, he worships demigods. Rajoguna, they worship we saw that Rajoguna, they worship like humanly people or the Rakshasas or something like that. And Tamoguna, people worship these ghostly spirits. So that like, the faith is getting influenced, and also the austerities, how the austerities are getting influenced by the influence of three modes of material nature. Somebody is so much torturing his body, it is like in Tamoguna for austerity, and somebody is actually doing austerity for name and fame, Rajoguna. Somebody doing austerity to please the Lord, that comes in Sattva. And again, charity, giving charity to the right people at the right time, at the right place, it is in Sattva-guna. To giving to a person out of name, fame, or to get recognition is in Rajoguna. And giving to the wrong person or in the wrong place at wrong time is in Tamoguna. And who is that ultimate enjoyer of all our sacrifices? Om Tat Sat. We discussed that. How the Supreme Lord is indicated by the mantra Om Tat Sat, means it is all done for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So this was phase. The acronym, we discussed 17th chapter. It is a short chapter with the 28 verses. And now we are going to discuss transit from the last 17 to last chapter, chapter number 18. So what does chapter 18 is going to discuss? What does Sri Krishna want to discuss or give enlightenment to us through chapter 18? In order to emphasize the goal of all Bhagavad-gita, Krishna is now going to summarize more or less everything that he already told before. Like chapter 2 is an overview of Bhagavad-gita. Chapter 18, so in chapter 2, what happens? He is giving the glimpse of all the yoga system in chapter 2. Karma yoga, jnana yoga, buddhi yoga, okay, and bhakti yoga also. So now chapter 18, as a teacher, what does he do in the class? When he is giving the class, finally he will summarize what he has told. Maybe 1 hour, 2 hour class. After that, he will summarize the key points. Like that, Krishna, after he is going to complete this Bhagavad-gita, instruction in the war field to Arjuna, he is now going to discuss more clearly on what is being spoken and what is the essence of that. So today's chapter is Bhagavad-gita 18. The chapter is entitled Perfection of Renunciation, or how to achieve perfection in our life, the art of perfection. So chapter 18 conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. Chapter 18 is essentially final summary of Bhagavad-gita. We discussed this already. After systematically outlining various spiritual truths so far, Krishna offers his paramam vacah. What is paramam vacah? Means his supreme instructions or supreme advice. Paramam means supreme, vacah means his speech. So supreme advice. What is that supreme advice Krishna is going to give here? One should take up bhaktiyoga, the most essential spiritual practice outlined in every chapter of this conversation. If you see in the past, every chapter almost at the conclusion, Krishna is glorifying bhakti. So the same thing is going to re-emphasize in this chapter. Thus, one is offered the opportunity of permanent happiness and fulfillment by achievement of Krishna consciousness. So if you are taking up this Krishna consciousness, what is Krishna consciousness meaning? You are conscious of Krishna at every second in your life. That is called Krishna consciousness. We know that at the background, God is there. God is guiding me. God is helping me. So God is protecting me. So that kind of consciousness, if you have at the background, even though foreground you do a lot of activities, that consciousness or the feeling, or you are aware of that the Lord is protecting, guiding me. And who is the Lord? Krishna. So that consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. He is considered to be the perfection of renunciation. In such consciousness, an individual can smile in the face of all situations and circumstances, confident that smiling Krishna is his constant companion and eternal friend. See here, if we are actually in that Krishna consciousness, what happens? Any individual, they can smile in any situation, whether in adversities or opportunities. In all situations and circumstances, that person can smile. That is called perfection of renunciation. And that, what is that? He is always confident that whatever happens in my life, Krishna is with me as a constant companion within my heart as Paramatma, and he is my eternal friend and well-wisher. So that faith and conviction a Krishna conscious person has, so that he can face this material life very confidently in a very peaceful and smiling way. So this smile is an acronym we are going to use today. Smile, as you see here, by giving this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, Krishna is smiling because Arjuna is going to take, because this whole instruction is given by Krishna to Arjuna because he wants Arjuna to fight. So here you can see Arjuna is going to fight. So Krishna is smiling because Arjuna is getting transformed now. And Arjuna is also smiling because he has received enlightenment from lotus sleep of Krishna. So Arjuna is also smiling in this chapter. And we are also going to smile at the end of this chapter because we also received transcendental knowledge through this Bhagavad-gita. So everybody is going to smile by the end of this chapter. That's why this chapter is entitled with the acronym called SMILE. So SMILE basically has 5 sections here in this chapter. So initially, Krishna is going to talk about summary of Karma Yoga. We know that first 6 chapters talk about Karma Yoga. Krishna is going to present the summary of Karma Yoga in the first section. And the second section, as usual, the modes of nature, which is very, very important, which is influencing us every moment. That summary is given in the M, modes of nature. And I is actually somebody who knows the summary of Karma Yoga and who knows the influence of modes of nature. If he is working in an ideal situation as recommended by God, that ideal worker, that is being discussed. When he is working so ideally, naturally he will develop love for God eventually. When he is developing love of God, what will be the end result for that person? So that is E, end result. So M, S for summary of Karma Yoga, M for modes of nature, I for ideal worker, L for love of God, A is end result. So this is what we are going to discuss 5 sections in chapter 18. So as I said, there are 78 verses here in this Bhagavad Gita, the longest chapter in longest chapter, or the chapter we can say with more verses, most verses. So yes, for summary of Karma Yoga, 1 to 18 verses, and influence of the 3 modes, 19 to 40, and ideal worker from 41 to 55 verse, and love of God is 56 to 66, and end result 67 to 78. You can see this child very beautifully smiling. So anybody reads sincerely this Bhagavad Gita, they will also smile amidst of all challenges and tribulations they are facing in this life. So that is the blessings and benediction when we receive this transcendental knowledge from Bhagavad Gita. So we already discussed this one already. This is little more detail of what you have seen in the acronym. What is renunciation? And all these chapters, anyway, we are going to see this. At the last, you can see Sanjay's prediction also there. And you can see previous to that, Arjuna is firmly fixed. Now Arjuna is getting clarity. And what is the effect of preaching and studying the Bhagavad Gita? You can see 18.67 to 18.71. And the most confidential knowledge of all is becoming a pure devotee of Krishna. That is explained in 64 to 66. I am coming from bottom to top. And 61 to 63 is surrender to the super soul. And 56 to 60 is working in pure devotional service. And 49 to 55 is from Jnana Yoga to pure devotional service. That is, you are going in the stair. From Jnana Yoga, you are stepping up to Bhakti Yoga. And 41 to 48 is worshipping the Lord through one's occupational work. Whether you are a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, still you can satisfy the Lord by engaging in the prescribed duties. And how the entanglement of 3 modes, Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, 19 to 40. And 13 to 18 is conclusion of Sankhya and Vedanta. And the first beginning now, what we are going to discuss, 18.1 to 12 is acting with detachment. Because the whole Bhagavad Gita is targeting how to live in this world with the detachment. Because with attachment, we are already living. No need for instruction or training. How to live in this world with the detachment. And what is true renunciation? Because by this detachment, we are going to actually achieve freedom from reactions. So that is what we are going to discuss now. So first is actually SMILE. SMILE stands for summary of Karma Yoga. First 18 verses we are going to see in essence what Krishna is telling. So summary of Karma Yoga, verses number 1 to 18. The 18th chapter begins by addressing the frequently asked question that seems to pop up again and again. So if you recall the previous chapters, every chapter almost Arjuna is always asking a question in the beginning. So this chapter also begins with Arjuna's question in the first verse. So what does it, you will see in the next slide. If working in this world seems to attract karmic reaction, we know that every action has equal and opposite reaction. So when we are working in this world, it will attract karmic reaction and implicates us in the web of worldly complexity. Is it not safer that we give up altogether? This is Arjuna's question. Krishna disagrees and reiterates, means he will re-emphasize that activity is not bad. Okay, so this is the important point what Krishna is hammering again and again. Activity itself is not bad. But if your activity is used for your sense gratification, that is bad. But the activity done for pleasing the Lord, that is very good. So if you say knife is good or bad, knife itself is not bad. If the knife is actually in the hand of a surgeon, it will save some life. But the same knife is in the hand of a terrorist or thief, he will murder somebody. Okay. So the knife is not bad, but how you are utilizing is it actually determines the result. Like that, activity itself is not bad. The activity, if you do to satisfy the Lord, that is very good. And the activity, if you do only for my own enjoyment, for my own selfish purpose, that is bad. So the root of entanglement is the false ego with which we perform the activity, thinking ourselves the controller and enjoyer. Now we are in this world, we are thinking that I am God. I control everything and I enjoy everything. That is false ego. No, we should know the controller of this world is God and the enjoyer of this world is God. I am simply a cooperator. I am cooperating as per God's plan. In reality, there are 5 causes which bring success to any activity. So this is one important point to note. Krishna is going to discuss in 18th chapter. There are actually 5 causes. Normally, when there is success or failure, we are blaming ourselves or we are giving credit to ourselves. No, either there is a success or there is a failure. Not only I am responsible, there are 5 factors or 5 causes which causes that success or failure. What are the 5 causes? Krishna is telling here. One is the Jivatma, soul. Second is the body. Third is the senses. Fourth is the effort. And finally, the sanction from the super soul. These 5 are considered to be the causes to bring success to any activity. So we normally think that it is only because of me. No. So you can see these 5 causes are there. That also we'll discuss in coming slides. Since we are the only one of the 5, so that's the Jivatma, we are out of 5, we are 1. We should never have an overvalued estimation of ourselves. Thus, by working in the spirit of detachment, offering the fruits of labor towards a transcendental goal, what happens? One can function in this world and simultaneously remain completely aloof. So this is the summary of Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means you should not give up the activity, but that activity should be done for the pleasure of the Lord, offering the fruits of labor towards a transcendent goal. In this way, we will not be affected by the results as well as we can satisfy God by that activity. So that is the first 18 verses we are going to discuss. So here you can see, as I said, Arjuna always begins with a question, almost most of the chapters, not every chapter, most of the chapters. So here 18.1 is begins with the Arjuna's question as a doubt. Sanyasasya mahabaho tattvam ichchami veditvam tyagasya cha hrishikesha pratakeshi nishudana. This is Arjuna's question to Sri Krishna. What does Arjuna say here? O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation. Renunciation means it is in Sanskrit, it is called as tyaga. Tyaga means renunciation. And of the renounced order of life, sannyasa. So there are 2 concepts. We actually, the query is raised based on 2 concepts Arjuna is telling. One is understand the purpose of renunciation. What is meant by tyaga? What is the purpose? And what is the purpose of the renounced order of life? Sannyasa. You know, we have the 4 ashramas, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. So Arjuna is asking, what is the about renunciation and the renounced order of sannyasa? What is the difference between basically? Oh, killer of the Keshi demon. Here you can see is using that Keshava. Sannyasa tu mahabaho tattvam ichchami veditum tyagasya rishi kesha. Pratak Keshi Nishudana means who was killer of the Keshi demon. Master of the senses means Rishi Kesha. So Krishna is called as Rishi Kesha because he is the proprietor or master of all our senses. And he is also called as Keshi Nishudana because he is killer of the Keshi demon. Why is he addressing Keshi Nishudana? Because Krishna killed the Keshi demon. Like that, you kill my doubt also. I have this doubt. Please kill my doubt by your clarification. So this is the beginning of the 18th chapter with the question of understanding the difference between renunciation and tyaga. So tyaga and sannyasa. These are the 2 things. So what is sannyasa versus tyaga? What is the difference? Renounced order versus renunciation. 18.2 to 3, Krishna is answering. Sannyasa means, what is sannyasa? You all heard sannyasi. What is the sannyasi and what is sannyasa? Sannyasa means giving up activities based on material desires. Okay, when you are giving up activities only for the selfish reason, giving up activities based on material desire. That means you are altogether stopping the material activities which is based on material desire. That is called sannyas. So normally you see sannyasis, they don't have bank account also. Normally supposed to be like that. They go, they have simple cloth, one or two cloth, and they are not engaged in any material activities. They go meditate, read some books, and they are in the near the temple or nearby, they are doing some activities. Sannyas, they say sannyas. They don't have any kind of material inclination or material attachments. But Tyaga is different. What is Tyaga means actually? Giving up the results of all activities. Okay, so here sannyasa means giving up activities. See, you are giving up the activity in sannyasa based on material desire. But here you are not giving up the activities. You are giving up the results of all activities. That means I am still doing the activity. But the result, I am not attached to the result. I am giving up the result. That is called Tyaga. Hope you are able to understand this one. Sannyasa means what is sannyasa and what is Tyaga. So giving up the result of activity is Tyaga, whereas giving up the activity itself, material activity is called sannyasa. So what are the activities we are referring here? Normally there are two types of activities. One is called as Nitya Karma and one second is called Kamya Karma. Nitya karma means activity. Nitya karma means you are performing every day. That means prescribed duties that leads to spiritual development. Okay, one example is giving, if you are doing deity worship, some people have small Laddu Gopal in their home, they are doing everyday worship. So you are doing your prescribed duties. That will gradually lead to spiritual development. That is called as Nitya karma. So regular routine activities by which you are cultivating your spiritual consciousness. Nitya karma. Kamya karma means what? Activities that done to fulfill some personal desire. Example, Putra Kameshti Yajna. So if you are doing the same activity, but it is not for spiritual development, it is to fulfill your own personal desire, that is called as Kamya Karma. So example, Putra Kameshti Yajna means you are doing some yajna in order that you get a good child. That is called Putra Kameshti Yajna. So that you are doing this activity to get your own personal benefit. So these are the two types of activity. Here you can see little more detail here. Broad classification of karma. Activities. So daily obligatory duties, Nitya Karma, we already discussed deity worship. You are performing your Gayatri mantra, Gayatri Japa, you are doing your chanting of Hare Krishna Maha mantra, daily homam, whatever rituals you are doing, which will gradually lead to spiritual development. That's called Nitya Karma. Naimitika Karma means occasional obligatory duties. Example, 16 or 40 samskara mentioned in Vedic scripture like Garbhadan samskara, Upanayam, Shraddha. So many things we are doing. Even some person passes from this world, we are doing Shraddha ceremony. So all these are coming. Naimitika means it is not regularly, but once in a time. Like Shraddha ceremony, you do every year once, right? And you do Garbhadana samskar before conceiving a child. So occasionally you are doing that obligatory duties that is called as Naimitika Karma. And Kamya Karma already we discussed, done for my own enjoyment. To get some personal benefit. Jyoti Sama Yajna for reaching heaven or Putra Kameshti Yajna, we saw already. And what is Prayaschita Karma? Sometimes we are doing some karma, rites for expiation, atonement of sins. Sometimes I am doing some sinful activities and I am doing some yagya. See, like atonement of sin, like Chandra and the scriptures are giving many such prayaschita also. If you did this, do this for atonement. And Nishida karma means forbidden action. So this is also some activities which are forbidden, means killing animals, drinking, engaging in illicit affairs. These are actually giving negative reactions. So these are activities which are done by a human being in their course of life. So if you see the difference now of sannyasa and tyaga, in sannyasa one gives up kamya karma and performs nitya karma. So now you understood what is kamya karma, which is done for personal benefit. Nitya karma is done for gradual elevation in spiritual consciousness. So in sannyasa, what does one in sannyasi do? He will give up kamya karma and he will perform nitya karma. But in tyaga, what does one do? One performs both nitya karma and kamya karma. Both he will do, but without attachment to the results. Now I think you will be able to understand how Krishna is clarifying very nicely what is sannyasa. Sannyasa is giving up kamya karma, whereas tyaga is performing kamya karma and nitya karma, but without attachment to the result. So this is our clarification Krishna is giving to Arjuna. So Arjuna is thinking now, some learned men declare that all kinds of fruity activities should be given up as faulty. Now Arjuna is thinking, no, you are saying nitya karma and kamya karma, but some people say that you should totally give up all the activities. So Krishna's opinion in 18.4 to 12, Krishna is again giving his opinion. The spiritualist always encourages the following of purificatory practices such as sacrifice, yajna, dana, tapa. Three things: sacrifice, charity, and penance. It even purifies great souls. So Krishna is saying yajna, dana, tapa. That means yajna means sacrifice, dana means charity, tapa means penance. These three should never be given up. Krishna is advising. Because why you should not be given up in our life at any stage? Even if you achieve perfection, still you should perform this sacrifice, charity, and penance. Because it even purifies great souls. So what is the sacrifice? Here we are saying the sacrifice is we are chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is sacrifice. Charity means we are always helping devotees or helping others to progress in devotional service or helping others, when they are actually in need. All this charity. And penance means we are following these 4 regulatory principles. Because what it will do, it will even purify great souls. So even we are doing, it will purify our mind also. So yajna, dana, tapa. We should never give up. That's what Krishna's opinion here. Now, yajna, we will go to the yajna part. There are many purificatory processes for advancing as a human being to spiritual life. The marriage ceremony, for example, this is Prabhupada's purport actually. The marriage ceremony, everybody comes across marriage ceremony in their life. For example, it's considered to be one of these sacrifices. It is called as vivāha yajna. See, marriage is also considered as one of the sacrifices. That's why we call that as yajna. Vivāha yajna means marriage sacrifice. Should a sannyasi who is in the renounced order of life and who has given up his family relations encourage the marriage ceremony? This is a question. The sannyasi already given up all the material activities. So should he encourage marriage ceremony? The Lord says that any sacrifice which is meant for human welfare should never be given up. That means any sacrifice which is meant for human welfare, for positive, should never be given up. And vivāha yajna, the marriage ceremony, is meant for regulate human mind so that they may become peaceful for spiritual advancement. See, because what happens in marriage ceremony, the male and female, they come together. So there is some kind of regulation. That's why, so the male is already actually the parents are, for the boy, they are trying to get married as soon as possible, because if you leave the mind, it will go wild and crazy. He may go into a lot of illicit affairs if you are delaying his marriage. So in our system, Vedic system, timely way, they will get married so that he is actually fixed. He is regulated with one woman, with one lady, and the one lady and one husband, like that. So becomes a human mind is so that it becomes peaceful for the spiritual advancement. For most men, this vivāha yajna should be encouraged even by persons in the renounced order. So a person, even though he's a sannyasi, he should encourage the general mass of people to get married on time. Because what happens, if he don't encourage that, these people will go, they'll go for party and so many. If you are seeing in the modern world, people are coming to the extent that they don't want to do marriage. They want living together relationship. Why? Because they don't want to take responsibility. Living together means what? I will come and you will come. There is no marriage, nothing, no vivāha yajna. I can live together and enjoy as much as possible. And if I don't like, I can get separated. There is no divorce, nothing. I can go in my way. They can go in way. And again, I can go with another partner and start living together. That is human mind. Human mind wants to enjoy, but don't want to take responsibility. So as a renounced person, they should encourage that, no, you should not live like that free life. You should be engaged. So Srila Prabhupada, when he was in America, America, the culture, Western culture, the male and female, they mix very freely, not like India. So they don't have any restrictions. So Prabhupada, whenever he's seen his devotees, they are mingling very freely, immediately he will call them and tell, okay, if you like each other, next in coming months, you should get married, but you should not mix freely like this. That's not good for your spiritual life. Like that, he conducted many marriages himself. That is the example here given. Okay. Sannyasis should never associate with women. That is one important criteria for a sannyasi. He should never associate with women. But that does not mean that one who is in the lower stages of life, a young man, should not accept a wife in the marriage ceremony. All prescribed sacrifices are meant for achieving the Supreme Lord. So sannyasi's criteria is he should not associate with women. Because as soon as he takes sannyas, he should not associate, even with his wife also. Only with mother he can have whatever relationship to talk, to see her mother. It's okay. But he can never see wife after getting sannyas. But person who is not elevated, whose mind is not detached, he should be encouraged to get married and settle in the life peacefully. So because all prescribed sacrifices are meant for achieving Supreme Lord. This is written by Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavad-gita 18.5 purport. Because so much confusion is there on spiritual life, people think that we should not marry. No. Krishna consciousness is not against marriage. If you can control your senses, you can become brahmachari. But if you cannot control senses, grahastha ashram is also accepted in our culture. So people can marry, regulate their senses, and progress in spiritual life. There is nothing wrong. All these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of the result. They should be performed as a matter of duty. O son of Pritha, that is my opinion. Final opinion. Krishna is telling, see, because 18th chapter Krishna is going to give the conclusion. So Krishna is telling, that is my final opinion. What is Krishna's opinion? All activities should be performed, but without attachment or any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty. So that is 18.6 and 18.2 purport again Prabhupada writing the performance of the activities for results has to be given up. This is the instruction of Bhagavad-gita. But activities leading to advanced spiritual knowledge are not to be given up. So there are two activities here. So activities, the performance of activities for result, you should not too much focus on the result. But if you are doing an activity which will lead you advance in spiritual knowledge, that activity you should never do. So renunciation in three modes, 18.7 to 9. In ignorance, what the people who are influenced in mode of tamoguna, they give up prescribed duties because of illusion. But the people in the mode of rajoguna, they give up duty as troublesome and out of fear of bodily comfort. Because they just want to live a cozy life. They do not do the prescribed duties. And goodness performs duties because ought to be done. And that is no material association or attachment to the fruit. This is ideal. And still higher than that is Suddha Sattva. Pure goodness means performing one's duties in Krishna consciousness and employing the fruits of one's work to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, whatever we have today, it is because of God's mercy. And when we are knowing that everything is property of God, we engage everything in the service of the Lord. Like if God has given us speaking power, if you are engaging to spread the glories of God, that is actually Krishna consciousness. Okay, so that is pure goodness. Now 18.11, you can see here, if it is impossible to give up activities, you can see here, nahi deha brita sakyam taktum karmani asheshataha yestu karma phalatyagi sa tyagiti abhidiyate. It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities. It is not possible easily for us. But he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who has truly renounced. So you can see here Alfred Ford. If you know Alfred Ford, he is the owner of the car called Ford. Okay, so he's an American, and he's he's the owner of this company called Ford from his grandfather, Henry Ford. He's a great grandson of Henry Ford called Alfred Ford. So what do we understand from him, this verse and this verse? So if you go to the next verse, next you can see this slide. Now he is called as Ambarish Prabhu. That means he's Srila Prabhupada disciple. He taken Diksha in almost 50 years before. So he is also, he's one of the wealthiest person in the world. He is employing his service is well in the service of the Lord. Like that, you see here, nahi deha pratak sakyam taktam karmaneshe. So it is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities. So he is also running the company as a material person. He is running a big car company. At the same time, he is also, with the results, he is trying to satisfy the Supreme Lord. So what does he do? He is not too much attached to the fruits of action. And he is actually funding for the building the biggest temple in the world. That's called Temple of Vedic Planetarium in Mayapur, West Bengal. The temple is almost in the final stages, expected to open in 2024, I think, 2024. Very grand temple. If you go to Google and type TOOP temple, you can see that such a big temple, and 50% of fund is actually given by Ambarish Prabhu, because it was Prabhupada's desire to build a big temple where the whole world can come and understand the glory of our Vedic culture. So he is supporting that. Even though he is engaged in material job like us, he is the owner of a big company, he is trying to give up the fruits of action in the satisfaction of the Lord, in the service of the Lord. So here is a practical example we can understand. Actually, this is called true renunciation, means you are engaged in the activities, at the same time you are sacrificing the result of the activities for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. That is 18.11. So this is the Temple of Vedic Planetarium. You can see how beautiful it is, like, that big American assembly, they say the parliament, like the White House. But it is bigger than that. It's very huge and very beautiful. It's a very big project. It's once completed, it will be the one of the biggest temple in the world. And the dome size is also very unique. It's very high. And this temple will be very shortly opened for all the people around the world to come and witness the glory of our Vedic culture. So there will be a lot of things, unique features in this temple. So it's a great work. He has contributed. 50% of the donations are coming from devotees around the world, and 50% of the fund for this temple is given by him. So it's a very huge project. So Arjuna now pondered how not to be attached to the results gained by one's hard work. See, if you are working hard, naturally we want the result. So Arjuna is thinking how it is possible. It's not easy, just not to be attached to the results gained by one's hard work. So then Krishna is telling, if you know these 5 causes of any action, then naturally you will not be very much attached to the result of that. That is 18.14. Krishna is talking about you are not only the doer. There are 5 factors for the action. What are the 5? Adhishtanam, the place of action. That means the body. Whenever you are doing any activity, means imagine it's not only the one. What are the causes? Without body, you cannot do action. So that is called as Adhishtanam, the material body. Karta means the performer. Who is the performer? The soul is the performer who desires to bring about bodily activity. Okay, any activity the soul will desire, the body will execute. So now there are two factors for action, the soul and the body. And Karanam, how does the body do? Through the senses, Karmendriya, Jnanendriya. We have 5 Karmendriya, 5 Jnanendriya, hand, leg, like that Karmendriya. And then you have the skin, tongue, eyes, ears, Jnanendriya. With this only the body can do anything. So the senses are called the instruments. And Shesta means you have to do some effort. If I want to lift this pencil, so my hand is cooperating. My desire from the soul is to lift this pencil. And the body is cooperating, the hand is cooperating to lift, and there is an effort that I am lifting. Suppose if I am coma, I cannot lift this pencil. So the effort is there to lift this pencil. That's called endeavor or Shesta. And Krishna as a super soul is sitting, he should approve any activity which you want to do. If he approves only, we can do that activity. Imagine if I am going to lift, something happens, a paralysis happened to my hand. I cannot lift this, right? So the super soul has to approve, then only you can do that activity. So any action has 5 causes of action. That is, 1 is the body, 2nd is the soul, 3rd is the senses, 4 is the effort, and 5 is the super soul. This Krishna is explaining. By knowing this, we should not blame ourselves for any failure, because we know sometimes super soul will not sanction. So sometimes super soul will sanction. So either when we achieve success also, we should not take the full credit, because there are 5 factors for the success. And even if there is a failure, we don't need to get demotivated or disappointed that I am a failure. No, we are not failure. We are not failure because there are so many things apart from our own capability to determine success or failure. And that 5 things are, as they are described here: Adhisthana, place of action body; Karta, the doer; Karanam, the senses, instruments; Shesta, the endeavor or efforts; and Devam, super soul. All our activities depend on his will and sanction. That's why there is a famous quote saying that even a blade of grass will not move without the will of God. Okay, so that is the 5 causes of action. So therefore, one who thinks himself only the doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. Krishna is saying this word. If somebody is seeing that he is only doing, not considering these 5 factors, he is not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. 18.16. And here you can see 18.17. One who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor is he bound by actions. So this is specifically told to Arjuna that even though you are killing, because you got already enlightenment, that I am not the doer, I am just doing as per the will of the Lord. So this you cannot go on to the court and say that I killed because it is the will of the Lord. No, the Lord never wants to kill anything for other men. To protect dharma, he may instruct us. So we should understand that when we are not motivated by false ego, that is a key word. False ego means it is not done for my satisfaction. When you are somebody killing, it is done for one's own satisfaction. Like a thief or terrorist, he is going and killing for his own satisfaction. But here Arjuna is doing based on to protect dharma. Tomorrow adharma rises, we are having the responsibility to protect dharma. That time we have to take sometimes violence. So when you are not motivated by false ego, and whose intelligence is not entangled, that means he is having already clarity, spiritual clarity. Though he kills men in this world, does not kill. He does not actually kill because he is doing for the right cause or the right purpose. for the right goal, for the right result, for protecting the world from evil forces, nor is bound by reaction. When he is killing in that mood, in that consciousness, he will not get any bad reaction. That is Krishna is saying 18.7, indirectly telling Arjuna, by engaging in this war, even though you are killing your opposite enemy, you will not get any bad reaction. So this is summary of Karma Yoga. Yes. Thus, by working in a spirit of detachment, offering the fruits of labor toward the transcendental goal, one can function in this world and simultaneously remain completely aloof. This is like the lotus leaf. It is in the water, but water cannot touch the lotus leaf. Similarly, Karma Yoga can help us to work in this world, at the same time be free from the reactions. So now we are going to the second section, the modes of nature, which is from 19 to 40. You can see the image here, how the three modes are influencing every Jivatma, living entity within this world. Above the three modes is Lord Sri Krishna, who is controlling the three modes. Modes of nature from 19 to 40. Looking around us, what do you see? The reality is that most people are deeply engrossed within the material world. Hardly people are taking interest in spiritual life, but everybody wants some result. Whatever they are doing, just they want to keep on enjoying. They don't care about result, or they don't care whether it is good for the world or not. They just want engrossed in this material world. But Krishna pins this down to the modes of material nature. Why they are like that? Because of the influence of the Rajoguna and Tamoguna that entangle each person according to their individual mentality. He explains how the modes influence our knowledge. See here, the mode is influencing our knowledge, our action, our understanding, our determination, and ultimately our sense of happiness. So all these are influenced by the modes of material nature. If I am Sattva-guna, my action will be different, my knowledge will be different, my understanding will be different, my determination will be different, and ultimately my happiness, quality of the happiness also will be different. Similarly for Rajo and Tamoguna. So analysis of the modes. Here Krishna is going to talk how the modes are having influence on what are the things. He is going to see how the mode is having influence on our knowledge, how the mode will influence on our action, and as a worker, how it will influence us, my understanding, how it will influence, my determination, how it will influence, and my happiness, how it will influence. So first part is knowledge, 18.20 to 22. Somebody is in ignorance. He is always by which he is attached to work as all without knowledge of truth and is very meager. He is foolish and is completely materialistic. So the person who is influenced by Tamoguna, he is like this. And the person who is influenced by Rajoguna, his knowledge will be in everybody a different type of entity. He is thinking that everybody is different, you know. But a person, actually spiritual person, he sees all the Jivatma same. But Rajoguna, you will not see like that. In goodness, one undivided nature is seen, all living entities through, though they are divided into innumerable forms. The form is different, but the entity is Atma. He does not see that there is a different. Everything is Atma. And in pure goodness, enables one to see all living beings as eternal, individual, spiritual servants of Krishna. In Suddha Sattva, he does not only see as a soul, but he seeing the soul is a servant of Krishna. This is for knowledge part. Next, we are going action or work, 18 to 23 to 25, 23, 24, 23 verses. For Tamoguna, Rajoguna, and Sattoguna. In illusion, disregarding the Shastra, without concern for future bondage or for violence and distress to others, impelled by violence and basically people who are murderers, thieves, terrorists, they all come, their action or work in the mode of Tamoguna. Because they take pleasure in killing others. Always we can see some news, people are taking some knife attack. In America, they are doing mass shooting. They go to a shopping mall, or they go, we see America is a great world, but every month there is a mass shooting. Somebody goes to a mall, somebody goes to a school. Sometimes the children in the school, they shoot their their friends. So that is actually Tamoguna. How can somebody do like that? Because of the influence of Tamoguna, they are acting like that. So somebody in the passion, a great effort, seeking gratify the desires enacted from false ego, desire to enjoy. They just want to enjoy this world to the fullest extent. That is Rajoguna. That is their action. And goodness is regulated, performed without attachment, without love or hatred or desire for future results, as offering to hold without considering fruit. So they are basically detached from the fruit, goodness people. And pure goodness means performed solely for satisfaction of Krishna and spiritual master. So Suddha Sattva, above Sattva Guna is Suddha Sattva. Their activity is done for satisfaction of God as well as satisfaction of Guru, spiritual master. So if you want to understand this better, people in Sattva-guna, they think that life is like a candle. Let me illuminate others' life before it melts. Okay, that is Sattva-guna. People in the Rajoguna think life is like an ice cream. Let me enjoy before it melts. So they all have their individual outlook. The people in Rajoguna think like life is like an ice cream. Let me enjoy to fullest extent before it gets melted. And people in Satoguna think life is like a candle. Let me illuminate or help others before it gets melted. That's understanding of action or work. And the worker, worker means a person who is going to do the activities. 18.26, 27, 23 verses again. Tamoguna, Rajoguna, Satoguna. So 3 verses Krishna is saying. Working against Tamoguna, working against Shastra, materialistic, obstinate, cheating other people, expert in insulting, lazy, morose, procrastinating, can't tell right from wrong. This is Tamoguna worker. Rajoguna worker means attached to the work, its fruits, greedy, envious, impure, moved by joy, sorrow, blinded by personal desire. And Satoguna means performs duty without associating with modes. He has good determination, enthusiasm, not wavering in success or failure, and free from attachment. This is goodness. And Shuddha Sattva means unconditionally serving Krishna and spiritual master under any and all circumstances. So 1 minute. So this is for understanding and determination. We are seeing again 3 guna. You see here 33, 34, 35. Krishna is talking how the influence is, how the mode is influencing the quality of determination. If somebody is in Tamoguna, cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, or moroseness, and is always in illusion, and holds fruitive results in religion, and always is in sense gratification, enjoyment mode. And goodness is, his determination is unbreakable, sustained with yoga practice, and controls the mind, life, and senses. That is people in Satoguna. But people in Suddha Sattva, above Satoguna, is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness and never deviated by anything else. And Prabhupada is the best example for who is situated in Suddha Sattva. And happiness, 37, 38, 39. See, Tamoguna, Rajoguna, Satoguna, three verses are there. Tamoguna happiness is, it is blinding to self-realization. Those people cannot achieve enlightenment. Delusion in the beginning, end from sleep, laziness, and illusion. So the result is delusion and degradation. Passion, the happiness in passion is, it will begin like nectar, but end like poison. So the happiness which you are experiencing in Rajoguna is actually beginning like poison, beginning like nectar, and ends and poison. Because we keep enjoying it is nice, but over a period of time, what happens? Our body becomes weak. I know people see people who are drinking, drug addicts, they enjoy happiness by thinking it is nectar, but eventually their health is ruined. The liver gets failed, their life gets failed. It ends like a poison, and there is also karmic reaction. So based on sense gratification, and typically example, young boy and girl relationship. So people think it is nice, but actually it will end in misery. But happiness experience with goodness is, in beginning, it is like poison. See, Krishna is very practical. He's saying here, in beginning, the happiness experienced by a person, Sattva-guna, is beginning, it's like poison, but end like nectar. And awakens one's true self-realization. See, spiritual life means you have to get up early in the morning. It's difficult. It's like poison in the beginning. But once you get that habit of getting up early in the morning, doing arati, chanting the holy name of the Lord, then you will experience bliss. It will end like a nectar. So in the beginning, it is poison, but in the end, it is nectar. So we want to select which one we want. Beginning nectar and end in poison, or beginning like poison and end like nectar. Students, children, they are studying in the school very hard. It is like poison. But when they get a good job, when they settle in their life, it is like nectar. So goodness means beginning it is difficult, but ultimately it will give you happiness at the end. So end result is more important than the beginning result. That is Sattva. So pure goodness means derived from transcendental devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God in eternal loving relationship. Ever increasing ecstasy unparalleled by any mundane experience or emotion. This is totally spiritual platform where he is having increasing ecstasy by practicing devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God. So this is again the modes of nature, very detailed chart. It's a very big chart. There are 4 to 5 slides. Definitely it will take separate 1 hour for this. So I will post this in the group. You can always go through that, what is the characteristics of goodness, passion. This is destination after death, object of worship, food, like that. So I will post this in the group. You can go through that. So Arjuna pondered, now what is the solution about all this, these 5 influences there, determination, happiness, and all those things. So Krishna is now presenting the ideal worker. So how we can become in steady. as an ideal worker, 41 to 55. That is the third section. We have two more sections to go. L, love of God, and end result. So I is ideal worker. So what is the solution? On one hand, we are expected to be aloof and unattached workers, but in reality, it is happening. No, we have conditioned nature influenced by three modes. Even though Krishna is telling you become unattached, but we are influenced by three modes, which implicates us in the worldly life. So Krishna therefore explains the system of varnashrama, where one engages the inherent nature in different types of work. Four divisions are outlined here now in these verses. The Brahmana is called as the intelligent class. The Kshatriya is called as martial class. The Vaishya is called as the mercantile class. And the Shudra is called labor class. So don't think that this is coming by birth. The scripture is very clearly saying this is coming by one's own nature, inherent nature. You can see the word inherent nature. So people think that the Varnashrama system is caste-based. To Brahmana son become Brahmana. No. A Brahmana son can never become Brahmana unless he is cultivating the quality of a Brahmana. Okay. One who need not artificially imitate another man's duty, but rather embrace what is natural and inborn. This is another practical concept that we should not imitate others. What I am good at, I should be able to do that. So like Albert Einstein said, if you judge a fish by the ability to climb with the tree, throughout the life, the fish will think that I am fool. No, the fish is having unique capability to swim in the water, whereas the squirrel is having the capability to climb in the tree. So everybody has an unique potential. We should only focus on our strength, not on other strength. By focusing on our strength, we should engage in that kind of activity. That is called as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. Somebody who is having strength and who is having the courage, he can become a Kshatriya. Somebody who is actually devoted to God, who is having knowledge of scriptures, he can become a Brahmana and preach to others. And somebody who is having business mind, who want to, do trading and all those things, he can become Vaishya. And somebody who is very dull, who cannot do all these things, he can become a Shudra, where he can help the other three Varnas to perform. But if you engage as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra according to our nature and discharging that work in the spirit of God consciousness, we can purify ourselves by material propensities and live a happy and peaceful life and also achieve perfection and go back to the spiritual world. So everybody, it's not that Shudra cannot worship God. Anybody can worship God by performing his own activities in the spirit of devotion. So here you can see Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Brahmana is explains spiritual knowledge, is devoted to God. Kshatriya means he will protect the country from the evil forces. And Vaishya means he will do business so that the society can function, exchange of goods, and also protect the cows. And agriculture is also there. And Shudra, he will help the other three Varnas. So Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras are distinguished by qualities born of their own nature according to the three modes of material nature. So somebody in Sattva-guna is Brahmana, and somebody in Rajoguna is Kshatriya, and somebody who is mixed with Rajoguna and Sattva-guna is Vaishya, and somebody is in more Tamoguna is in Shudra. So division of Varnas, qualities. The Brahmana, what are the qualities of the Varna? Because with this quality only we can identify if somebody is born as the Brahmin family. If he is not having this quality, we should not consider him as Brahmin. So what are the qualities? A Brahmana should be peaceful, self-controlled, austere, tolerant, honest, wise, and religious. So these qualities Krishna is giving in Bhagavad-gita from verse number 42 to 44, 42, 43, 44. So here, Brahmana means this quality should be there. Otherwise, he is not considered to be Brahmana. And Kshatriya means what quality should be there? We should be determined, strong, generous, resourceful, and courageous. He should be very brave. But Brahmana cannot function as Kshatriya. Because the Brahmana, if you give a knife to him, his hand will shiver. So that's why somebody is having a quality, is having fearing of knife, you should not become a Kshatriya. Kshatriya is never afraid of blood. Somebody will call for fight, and even in the middle of the night, he is ready to fight. That is Kshatriya. Okay. So Kshatriya is actually having a different quality than Brahmana. And Vaishya is naturally tends towards business. Some people, they don't take up employment also. Their aim is always to do business. So that is Vaishya, naturally tends towards business, farming, and cow protection. And Shudra tends towards labor work, hard work, and service to others. This is the quality of the Varnas. So purification through Karma Yoga, you can see worshipping the Lord through occupational duty. One should be thinking, oh, Lord has engaged me in this particular occupation. Thus, I should use the fruit of his work for the satisfaction and worship. So you can see the image here. You all may be knowing, this is George Harrison, one of the very famous pop singer. He was like Michael Jackson, very famous. And he was having his own crew called the Apple Records. And there's a band called Apple Band, So he was very famous. He was born in UK. And his name is George Harrison. So when he is singing, there will be fleet of ambulances. Why the ambulances are coming? Because the girls, if they see him and hear him singing, they will faint. So much they were crazy for him. So immediately when the girls, they faint, or the boys, they faint, immediately they will put them in the ambulance and take to hospital. So people are so much crazy. He becomes so much fascinated by Prabhupada, and he wanted to become a disciple of Prabhupada. So he approached Prabhupada and said, please also initiate me, give me Diksha, like Alfred Ford. He became a Prabhupada's disciple. But Prabhupada told him, no, you no need to take, initiation from me. You are already Hari's son. George Harrison means you are Hari's son. Hari's son means you are son of Krishna. You do your singing because you are so famous. You do your singing. At the same time, by your singing, you should spread Krishna consciousness by your songs. So then George Harrison, there is a famous song, Oh my sweet Lord, here, when will I see you? I love to see you. I want to see you. I want to hear. Like that, there is a famous Beatles song sung by George Harrison. Oh my sweet Lord, like that. There's a very famous album. By that, he helped Prabhupada in spreading Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness became very famous. There is one nice song also, which is actually called Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So if you go to any ISKCON temple, that song, during the Darshan Aarti 7:30, they open the curtain, they will play this song. That is also sung by George Harrison and Yamuna Mataji. That song became very famous in the pop chart. Almost for 5 to 10 years, it was on the top list of, the top pop songs. So that's how, many people came to Krishna consciousness. So George Harrison was very instrumental in spreading Krishna consciousness according to Prabhupada's instruction, worshipping the Lord through one's occupational duty. If I can sing, I can sing the glories of the Lord. If I can speak, I can speak the glories of the Lord. Like that, in whatever occupation I am there, still I can help in spreading the mission of Krishna consciousness. And George Harrison also, there is one Bhakti Vedanta Manor in Watford Temple. It's one of the biggest temple in UK. You can see it's a manor. So it's a big bungalow, like a castle. That was actually purchased by George Harrison. Very big mansion, and it was freely donated to Prabhupada for making it as a temple. So till today, it is the temple is there. It's called Bhaktivedanta Manor. If you all have a chance to visit the United Kingdom, you can go and visit that beautiful temple. It's a very beautiful temple which was donated by George Harrison to Prabhupada in service of Krishna. So like that, worshipping the Lord through occupational duty also, we can achieve perfection. So purification through Karma Yoga. And from Jnana to Brahman platform and pure devotional service. This is now we are going to the gradual elevation from Jnana Yoga platform to Brahman realization, and then we are going to pure devotional service. You can see that in the coming slides. Process of Jnana Yoga, Krishna discussing from 18.51 to 53. Because beginning he discussed the summary of Karma Yoga. Now he is summarizing the Jnana Yoga, 51 to 53, 51 to 53, 3 verses. Here the process of Jnana Yoga is described. One purifies himself by use of his intelligence. When you use your intelligence and purifying yourself, that is called Jnana Yoga. How does he purify? Controlling the mind with determination, purified by intelligence, giving up sense objects, freedom from attachment and hatred, living in a secluded place, so leads little and controls his body, mind, and power of speech, freedom from all bad qualities born of material consumption, always in trance and detached. Thus, one achieves supreme peace. So, this is about Jnana Yoga. And next platform is Brahma Bhuta stage, 18.54. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. Samasarva Bhuteshu mad bhakti lavate param. What is that Brahma Bhuta platform which Krishna is describing? Somebody is in this Brahma Bhuta stage, is fully joyful. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. The Atma, his mind is very peaceful. And na sochati na kankshati. Never laments nor desires. Samasarva Bhuteshu. Equally disposed to all living entity. Mad bhakti lavate param. Then attains pure devotional service to me. After this Brahma Bhuta platform, next stage is you will attain pure devotional service. That is called Brahma Bhuta platform. 18.54. Okay. Mad bhakti lavate param. After Brahma Bhuta stage, one will achieve devotional service. Krishna is telling that. Now Arjuna is pondering, what happens after attaining devotional service? What will happen if I even achieve devotional service? So Krishna is telling, only by bhakti, 18.55. Bhaktya mami vijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. Tato mam tattvato jnatva vishate tad anantaram. Very, very important verse. You can mark this verse 18.55. Bhaktya mam abhijanati means only by bhakti we can understand me. Very clear. Somebody says bhakti is for not very advanced stage. Jnana yoga is advanced. Somebody says dhyana yoga is advanced. People out of ignorance they say. But Bhagavad-gita, Krishna very clearly says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. One can understand me as I am. Bhagavan, one, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. If you take up Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, you can understand Brahman platform, you can understand God as Paramatma, but you can never understand God as Bhagavan. Bhagavan, if you want to realize, only by bhakti it is possible, only by devotional service. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. In truth, if one want to understand me as I am, only by bhakti it is possible. And when one is in full consciousness, tato mam tattvato jnatva, such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Vishate tat anantaram. If one, after achieving that devotion to the Supreme Lord, he will enter into the kingdom of God, which is called as a spiritual world. Bhagavad-gita 18.55. Very important verse. And now we are coming to the fourth section of Bhagavad-gita chapter 18, which is called love of God. Because without love of God, we cannot go to the spiritual world. So that's why Krishna is giving this love of God, which is the summum bonum of this Bhagavad-gita, 56 to 66. So, in conclusion, all the activities, practices, and elements of spirituality are ultimately aimed for what? Why we are discussing Bhagavad-gita, why we are chanting, why we are fasting on Ekadasi, and why we are doing charity, why we are doing yajna, why we are doing tapasya. All these activities, practices, and elements of spirituality, why? Are ultimately aimed for this result called achieving pure love of God, devotional service, loving God. Now we are loving dogs sometimes, we are loving so many things, loving country, society, caste, community, but we are not loving God. That is our minus point. Without that only we are not having this happiness or satisfaction in our life. The moment we start developing our love of God, we'll immediately get satisfaction and happiness. Otherwise, there will be always emptiness in the heart. Even if you do charity, you build a hospital, you build a school, give free education, give free treatment. It's all good for the society, but your heart will not be satisfied till you come to this point of developing your love for God. That is the only missing point in this modern civilization. The highest realization in transcendental knowledge is to re-establish one's eternal loving relationship with Supreme Personality of Godhead. This love and affection only very, very important. Srila Prabhupada wonderfully sums up this purport in 18.65 purport. The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think and act him. See, if you want to develop love of God, if you don't know who is God, how can you develop love? So first of all, we should know the Supreme Lord is Krishna and we should develop devotion to him and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Okay, life should be so molded that one will be always have the chance to think of Krishna. It is said that Martabhyam Satatam Vishnu Vishmartabhya Jatuchit. Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. This is the essence of all spiritual practices. Why we are hearing Bhagavad-gita class, why we are chanting is we should at the background always remember Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours, he cannot help but think of Krishna. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. See, this is beautiful conclusion. If you are always thinking about God, Krishna, eventually you will be purified and you will enter into the kingdom of God, which is Golaka Vrindavan, Vaikunta, and you will have an eternal life in face to face with Krishna. So 18.56 to 57, working under Krishna's protection, Krishna is saying, I personally protect my devotee from all reactions and lead him directly to my supreme abode. This is Krishna's promise and protection, which is giving in 56 to 57. Srila Prabhupada is saying one should follow the order of the Lord, which means through the direction of Krishna's representative Guru and through the words of Krishna's word, Shastra. So Guru, Sadhu and Shastra we should follow, and under that their guidance, if you practice, we can achieve perfection. Now Arjuna is pondering, what if one acts independently? So he does not bother about this instruction. We plan act independently. So 58 to 60, making an inner choice to serve Krishna or to turn away from Krishna. These are the two things we have in our life. Either we can serve Krishna or turn away from Krishna. So Krishna is telling in 58 verse, you will pass all obstacles, otherwise you will be bound. If you are working under my protection, you will pass all the obstacles. Otherwise, you will be bound by the reaction, action and reaction, karmic reaction. Your duty is to fight. And even if you try to abandon, what will happen? The mode will force you to do it. No? Your duty is to fight as a Kshatriya. But if you try to escape, the three modes of material nature will force you to do it. Do means it will guide you in a wrong way also. If you do not follow my order, you will follow the orders of the lower nature like a puppet. So, if you don't follow my order, then you will follow the order of Maya. That is like puppet. So, surrender to the super soul. Here you can see how Bali Maharaj surrendered everything to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So, that surrender to the super soul, who is Paramatma within our heart, is explained in 3 verses, 61 to 63. So, what does Krishna says about the Paramatma in the heart? 61. Ishvara sarva bhutana, Hrideshi Arjuna tishtati. Brahmayam sarva bhutani, Yantra rudani maya. Very nice verse, very important verse also. The Supreme Lord, Ishvara sarva bhutana. Ishvara means the Supreme Lord. Sarva bhutanam, all living entities. Hrideshi Arjuna tishtati means he is situated in the heart region. And Brahmayam means as a mission. Sarva bhutani as a mission. Yantra rudani maya. See, Brahmayam means the living entity is illusion. Brahma. And Sarva Bhutani, all the living entities are illusion. Yantra Rudani Maya, it's like a mission. The Maya is directing the living entity. So, translation, the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, first point, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities. According to the guidance of the Paramatma, we are wandering in this material world, who are seated as on a machine, like a driver sitting on a car, in a car, made of the material energy. So, this body is like a machine made of material energy, and the driver is like the soul, the soul is the driver, and Krishna is directing, go here, go there, according to our past karma. And he is sitting in the heart. That is 18.61. That is about Paramatma. I am the director. Actor is the soul, director is the Paramatma. See, in a film movie also, more than the actor, we are seeing the actor in the foreground. But how does that film become successful? Because there is a director behind that actor. So the director, you always understand, Paramatma means director, Atma means actor. And this world is a stage. Srila Prabhupada purport, the living entity gets what he deserves and is carried by the material body, which is created in the material energy under the direction of the super soul. As soon as a living entity is placed in a particular type of body, he has to work under the spell of the bodily situation. A person seated in a high-speed motor car goes faster than one seated in a slower car. Though the living entities, the drivers may be the same. See, the driver is same, Atma, but if I am in the dog body, I am acting like a dog. If I am as a human body, I am acting like a human. So that's why proper rating. The driver is same, but if he is sitting in a high-speed motor car, he can drive faster. But the same driver is seated in a slower car, a different body, he will drive slower. So, similarly, by the order of the Supreme Soul, the material nature fashions a particular type of body to a particular type of living entity. Suppose next body, according to the karma, I have to become fish, then I have to swim in the water, so that he may work according to the past desires. The living entity is not independent. One should not think himself independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The individual is therefore always under the control of Lord's control. Therefore, one's duty is to surrender, and that is the injunction of the next verse. So, we don't think that we are independent. We are always under the control of the three modes of material nature, and the three modes of material nature is under the control of the Supreme Lord. So, now Krishna's another beautiful verse is coming. You have to note down this verse also. 18.63, after telling all this, Krishna is not forcing that you should fight. Krishna is telling, Iti te jnanam akyatam, guhyataram maya, vimshret aseshena, yata chesi tata kuru. This yata chesi tata kuru is very key. Somebody says, no, Bhagavad Krishna told to fight in the battle. No. Krishna is telling, do as you wish. Yata chesi, I have given you the supreme knowledge, the transcendental divya knowledge, divine knowledge. Now you contemplate on this. You think about what is good for you and do as you wish. Krishna never touch our freedom. Will never touch our freedom. Yata chesi tata kuru. He is also giving this knowledge to us. Bhagavad-gita, he will not tell now you should tomorrow onward start chanting. No. That decision we have to take based on our freedom, based on our free will. But if you use our freedom rightly, we will go back to God. But if you misuse our freedom, we will be remaining in this material world. Krishna is not a religious fanatic. Free will. So, revealing the knowledge, inviting the living entity to think about it, and allowing them to take their own decision. This is Krishna's maturity. No? Krishna will reveal the supreme instruction next verse, coming verse. What is his instruction? He told, but he will not force you that. So he has given the divine knowledge for us also. And he is also inviting the living entity, please come back to spiritual world by practicing devotional service. But the decision whether to go there or to remain here is our own decision. That is free will. Yatha chesi tatha kuru. So what is the essence of Bhagavad-gita we are seeing here? This verse is repeated 2 times in Bhagavad-gita, one in chapter 9.32 and 18.65. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mam eveshyasi satyam te pradijanihi priyo asmi. Always think of me, become my devotee, madbhakto, worship me, madhyaji, mam namaskuru, offer your homage to me, mam eveshyasi, thus you will come to me, satyam te, without fail, pratijanihi, I promise, priyo asmi, because you are my very dear friend. See, the verse is very clear. If somebody will read Bhagavad-gita with little bit of Sanskrit knowledge, they know that what Krishna wants to say through Bhagavad-gita. Manmana bhava, think of me. Madbhakto, become my devotee. Madhyaji, offer your worship to me. Mam namaskuru, offer your homage to me. Then Mam eveshyasiti, you will come to me. Satyam, I promise to you. Pradijanihi, why I am saying all this to you? Because you are priyo asmi, you are very, very dear to me. As Arjuna is dear to Krishna, similarly, Krishna is also dear to us. That's why he is giving this instruction through the knowledge of Bhagavad-gita. Otherwise, we will not get access to this Bhagavad-gita knowledge. So we should all consider ourselves very fortunate that somehow or other, Krishna is giving us this knowledge, means he is telling, he is now giving green signal to us to come back to him. Now, whether we want to wait in the red signal or proceed in the green signal, the decision is ours. Srila Prabhupada purport, the most confidential part of the knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. So already we discussed this. One should act and he will be returned to the abode of Krishna where he will be enjoyed. That we already discussed in the essence, the 3-4 slides before. Same purport. And the essence of Bhagavad Gita is called Charan Sloki, 18.66. All these verses are very important verses, like a chain of verses. All are giving very, very important instruction. This is called Charan Sloki, or the essence of Bhagavad Gita is Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshe Isami Masuchaha. Like if you buy a mobile or TV, they are giving guarantee that 1 year we are giving warranty. So anything happens, you can always return the product and get a new product or get it rectified. So Krishna is giving the guarantee here to all the jivatmas, especially the human form of life. Is telling Sarvadharman Parityaja, give up all the varieties of religion. You are going this Hindu religion, Christian religion, Muslim, all give up all the dharma. Just surrender to me. Mamekam Sharanam Braja. So we should not be proud that I am Hindu. No. We should be proud when we are surrendering to Krishna. Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Just surrender to me, Sharanam. And Aham Tvam, what if you surrender to me, what I will do? Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo. I will remove you all sinful reaction. Sarva Papebhyo means not only the bad reaction from this life, previous life, Sarva Papebhyo, I will relieve you from all this. I will give you liberation. Moksha Isami. Ma Suchaha. Do not fear. See, Krishna is comforting us. Do not fear that you are in this material world, in the middle of the battlefield. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. Do not fear. I will relieve you from all the sinful reactions. This is my guarantee. Just only surrender to me. Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Just give up all this concoction, this religion, that dharma, this dharma, fighting that mine is better, yours is better, your God is good, my God is good. No. Just surrender to me. Mamekam Sharanam Braja. And here, Krishna is saying, abandon all. This is called Charan Sloki. Abandon all. With all authority, with all command, he is telling surrender to me. If you see no other scripture claims or no other God claims that just surrender to me, I will relieve you from all the sinful reactions. A demigod cannot give this guarantee because they don't have that power. But Krishna is telling, just if you surrender, I will take care of it. That is, Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Isami Masuchaha. 18.66. Very important. And here, one important word you have to notice. Mam Ekam. Sarvadharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja. Surrender only to Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, not anyone else except him, not even to demigods like Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. Here again, there is a test of our faith. Krishna is telling, if you trust me, you have to surrender to me, not to go to any demigod. Because people want to play a safe game. What is that safe game? They want to worship Krishna, they want to worship all the demigods because they don't know whether Krishna will really protect them. But Krishna is telling you have to take the risk. Otherwise, people want to, they keep all the Devata photo, show Agarbati to all the photo because they think that if this God will not protect me, at least this God will protect me. So that's why we are going to so many gods, so many temples, because we do not know who is God and we don't know who is protected. So let me apply, like we are applying to 10 companies, at least one company will give me job offer. Not like that. Here it is not like that. If you go to any other demigod, they cannot give you liberation. They cannot give you protection. Very clear. But if you go to Krishna, Krishna is giving the guarantee, Mam Ekam. Surrender only to the Supreme Personality of God, Lord Sri Krishna. So those who take the message of Bhagavad-gita seriously, they will try to surrender to Krishna. Otherwise, if you take as a time pass, you worship all the God, you will not get any transformation and you will not get liberation, you will not get the necessary protection. This is Bhagavad-gita's command at the end. Otherwise, why we have to read Bhagavad-gita? Otherwise, we can just worship all the demigods without reading Bhagavad-gita. So now, when Krishna is telling Sarvodharman Parityaja, Saranagati, what is actually meaning of Saranagati? How a devotee must practice the process of Saranagati? Very important. There is a reference from Hari Bhakti Vilas. So what is that? From Padma Puran, there is a reference given in Hari Bhakti Vilas 11.676. Because Krishna is telling Saranagati to me only, we understood. But how to do this Saranagati? So this is the verse. Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam, rakshaditi vishwaso, gopitirte varnam tata, atma nikshepka karpanye. That means, anukulyasya sankalpam, process of surrender is simply accept such religious principles that are favorable to devotional service. Suppose whatever is helping me to progress in devotional service, that principles I will accept. Even tomorrow I am changing job, I should go to a place which is helpful for me to progress in devotional service. So that is called accepting what is favorable for, in any way, whatever I am doing should not hamper my spiritual progress. That is anukulyasya sankalpa. And pratikulyasya varjana means avoid or reject anything unfavorable to devotional service. Suppose eating meat, will not progress in spiritual life. So we should try to give up meat eating. So pratikulyasya varjana, avoid anything unfavorable. Suppose I have too much friends who are always provoking me for material enjoyment. Slowly I should try to give up the company of them, so that I will not be diverted from a spiritual path. And Rakshati Vishwaso, confidence that Krishna will protect me in all circumstances. Krishna is my well-wisher, Krishna is my protector, and Krishna is my friend. That strong conviction we should have. And Gopitrite Varnam Tata, to have firm faith that Krishna is only our maintainer. No need of thinking how to keep body and soul together. Krishna will maintain me. No need to think about my job security, what will happen, how my bank balance will protect me. We should know that Krishna is my father. He will protect me at any cost. Atma Nikshepa, full self-surrender, sacrificing everything for Lord. And Karpanya means think, always be humble. Because when we are humble, Krishna likes us. When we are too much proud or egoistic, Krishna is not happy with our mindset. So Karpanya means you should always think humble. Humility is an ornament which attracts the mercy of the Lord very easily. So this is the process of surrender. So the final teachings, we have come to the last section. Krishna has just completed speaking the Bhagavad-gita. What now should be done with the jewels of transcendental knowledge just spoken by Krishna? Should they kept secretly or distributed widely? If they should be distributed, who is qualified to receive them? What result come to one who hears, studies, or preaches this Krishna's message? The final essential teaching, 18.65. The essential teaching is quite clear. One should serve him in full conviction and not concern himself with any other dharma. One need only to serve Krishna, and as Krishna undoubtedly tends to all need of surrendered devotees. So the surrender process is again re-emphasized by, and once we surrender, what will be the end result is actually the last section, the E section, smile, 67 to 78. The end result is knowledge, the jnana, and understanding of Bhagavad-gita. See, very important, the knowledge and the understanding of Bhagavad-gita is dependent on not our education qualification. It is not that because I am having 5 PhD, I can understand Bhagavad-gita. Or I am PhD as in Sanskrit, I cannot understand Bhagavad-gita, even though it is in Sanskrit language. Knowledge and understanding of Bhagavad-gita is dependent upon one's consciousness. According to our consciousness only, this knowledge will be revealed to us. Suppose if I am in Tamoguna, even if I read Bhagavad-gita, I cannot understand. If I am in Rajoguna, even if I read Bhagavad-gita, I cannot implement in my life. But if I am in Sattva-guna, I can understand this knowledge and I can implement in my day-to-day life And from there, I can go to Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. So we should understand this understanding of Bhagavad Gita will only be complete when our consciousness is proper in Sattva-guna. To follow Sattva-guna only, to get the Sattva-guna, we should chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, follow the 4 regulative principles like no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling. So only one who approaches these sacred teachings with proper mood, also important. You cannot go and challenge God. Why you are teaching like this? I will not accept. Who will be the loser? We will be the loser. They say that if a dog will bark in front of the sun is not going to be affected. The dog is going to die out of thirst. So God is great. We are very, very insignificant. So we should approach these divine teachings with a humble mood, with proper mood and proper lifestyle. Then we can understand the deep and profound meaning. Then Bhagavad Gita will reveal deeper meanings every day. By hearing and studying this conversation, what we are doing for past 18 weeks, with such favorable temperament, one perceives the spiritual dimension as a tangible reality. Then we know the spiritual life is not anymore theory. It can be perceived as a tangible reality. And his life becomes exciting. It is a journey of miracle and wondrous at every step. Thus, to share this wisdom with society at large constitutes the greatest welfare work for the entire universe. So, Prabhupada, why did he teach this Bhagavad Gita in the Western world? Because it was actually spiritual master desire that he goes to the English-speaking people, Western world, and gives his knowledge. So Prabhupada, he preached this Bhagavad Gita in India, but hardly people take a notice of that. But when he went to Western world to fulfill his spiritual master desire, then he established International Society of Krishna Consciousness, and he established temple all over the world, in every country, from the age of 70 to 80. It was the biggest miracle that the world witnessed in the recent times. So who is actually eligible to read and understand Bhagavad Gita? One who is austere, one who is devoted, one who is engaged in devotional service, and who is not envious of Krishna. Somebody don't like Krishna. If you tell the moment Krishna they don't like, they give some bad comment. So who are envious of God, they cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. So who is austere, devoted, engaged in devotional, non-envious. So Krishna is telling in 18.67 that when they have these 4 qualities only, you can understand this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. Otherwise, not possible. And what is the result of preaching and teaching Bhagavad Gita? So we are teaching this Bhagavad Gita, we are sharing this wisdom to others. The result of preaching Bhagavad Gita is explained in 18.68 to 68, 2 verses. But Krishna is telling for that person who is preaching Bhagavad Gita and teaching Bhagavad Gita to others, devotional service is guaranteed. Another guarantee Krishna is giving here. That person will get devotional service in his life. And at the end of the life, he will go back to Krishna and he becomes very dearmost servant of Krishna. So for Krishna, he is a very, very dear person. Because why he is dear to Krishna? See, the Jivatma, all as his sons, they are all roaming this material world, forgetting the father. So one person, if your son is going astray, taking away your property, one person, like he is your friend, he advises your son who is loitering somewhere, is telling, see, your father is a very good person. He wants always your welfare. Please remove all your misunderstanding from your father. I personally know your father. So he is calling up your father and telling, our son is here. I am sending your son back to you. Please, you all be together. So that person, Krishna, that father likes very much that friend because he is reuniting the son with the father. Similarly, spiritual master means he is actually the servant of the Lord who is trying to get these souls who are lost in this material world, and he is trying to unite back with the Father, our Supreme Father Krishna. In Bible also it is said that there are a lot of sheep are traveling. One sheep lost the track and went away. That is about the Jivatma who is roaming in the material world. So any servant of the Lord, whether it is Prophet Muhammad or is Jesus Christ or the Acharyas like our Srila Prabhupada, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, what is their role? They are trying to give the spiritual instructions whereby we can remember God and get united with God. We can go back to our Father, Supreme Father, Shri Krishna. He becomes the dearmost servant of Krishna. And studying and listening Bhagavad Gita, as you are all doing for past 18 weeks, you are studying and listening to Bhagavad Gita. What is the effect? Also for the listener, Krishna is telling benedictions and blessings in 18.70. He worships Krishna with his intelligence. The speaker, the listener become free from all sinful reactions and he will advance spiritually. Just by hearing Bhagavad Gita, you will become free from sinful reactions regularly if you hear. And spiritually you become advanced. So the speaker and listener, the blessings and benediction is given in 18.70 by Krishna. And 16.9, same what we discussed, benediction and preacher for the preacher. Krishna is saying, no one is more dear servant to me. Nobody is dear than a person who is actually preaching this knowledge of Bhagavad-gita. So if you want to become very dear to Krishna, you can also take up this task of preaching this message of Bhagavad-gita to your family, friends, relatives, to your peers, to colleagues, to your neighbors, so that, not everybody is conducive, but who are actually like you all are conducive, you all came to this class. Like that, there are people outside world. They are looking for this spiritual knowledge. To those people who are eager to get this knowledge, you can share this. And when you are sharing, no one is more dear servant to me than he, one who explains the supreme secret to my devotees. Nor will there be anyone more dear. Again, another great glorification Krishna is giving. Not only now he is dear, in future also, nobody will be more dear than who is preaching this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. See, such a most glorious task Srila Prabhupada has taken. As you can see, Krishna is blessing him that he is giving this knowledge throughout the world, not in one country. In every country, Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita is there. There's an ISKCON center where every day this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is given constantly spread to the devotees. And there are devotees from all the nationalities. It is not only Indians are following Bhagavad Gita. If you see in ISKCON, there are all the nationalities people are there who are worshipping Sri Krishna with firm conviction and devotion. So this is benediction again. And the listener, one who studies this sacred conversation, worships me with his interest. That is for the speaker. And for the listener also, we saw that he will be free from the sinful reactions. And also he will get this to advance in spiritual path. So what should we do with the knowledge given in Bhagavad-gita? Distribute it. Distribute this knowledge. Even if you cannot preach directly, at least distribute. When you go home for vacation, take some Bhagavad-gita with you. You can gift it to your friends, colleagues, when you are visiting them, when you are having some get-together, when you are having some marriage ceremony or housewarming ceremony, who are coming to your house, you can give a pocket edition of Bhagavad-gita. Like that, we can distribute it. Then pure devotional service is guaranteed. One will go to Krishna when you distribute and study it, worships with intelligence, hear it with faith and without envy. It results in freedom from sinful reactions and attains the auspicious plans where the pious dwells. These are all Krishna's promises. And Arjuna is now firmly fixed. Now, a couple of slides are there remaining. Arjuna is firmly fixed, 72 to 73. Now, what is Arjuna finally telling after hearing these 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita? In 73, Arjuna gives his response. After patiently hearing all these verses from Krishna, lotus mouth of Krishna, Arjuna's final response is 73 verse. Nashto moho smriti labda tat prasada maya chuta sitosmi gate sandeha karishye vachanam tava. My dear Krishna, oh infallible one, my illusion is now gone. Nashto moho, my illusion is gone. Smriti labda, I have regained my memory. Tat prasada, by your mercy, I am now firm. Sitosmi, free from doubt. Gata sandeha. Karishye vachanam tava, and I am prepared to act according to your instruction. 18.73. That means Arjuna is ready to engage in the battlefield to protect dharma and destroy adharma. For this mission only, Krishna advented here. Dharma samsthapanataya sambhavami yuge yuge. My illusion is now gone. So the Acharyas very interestingly tell this verse, give an explanation. So here you can see, Nashto moho. Arjuna is telling, Nashto moho. He's telling my illusion is gone, and he's seeing Krishna. Krishna is not smiling. And Arjuna is thinking, I am telling my illusion is gone. Why Krishna is not smiling? Then Krishna, and again Arjuna is adding the second two words. Smritir labdva. I have regained my memory. And again he's seeing Krishna. Krishna is not giving any reaction or response. Then he's telling the second line. Tat prasadat. Oh Krishna, because of your mercy only, my illusion gone. I regained my memory. It is just because of your mercy. Then also there is no response from Krishna. Krishna's face, there is no response. And Sitosmi Gata Sandeha. Now I am firm and free from doubt. Again he is seeing Krishna. Krishna, there is no response. No reaction. Last he is giving that last line. Karishye vachanam tava. Now I am prepared to act according to Krishna's instruction. Then Krishna is smiling in his own unique way. So what we understand from these acharyas are saying that if you say my illusion is gone, Krishna will not smile. If you say I regain my memory, Krishna will not smile. Now I am free from doubt. No. Karishye and I, Krishna, because of your mercy only I understood Bhagavad-gita. No, Krishna will not smile. Karishye vachanam tava. If you act according to Krishna's instruction, I act according to prepared, act according to Krishna's. Then Krishna will smile at us. Okay, Karishye Vachanam Tava means I will act according to your instruction. Like a father is giving instruction to his son. Krishna, son is telling, oh, my father, my illusion is gone. What is father going to do with it? I regain my memory. What father will do? I am now firm, free from doubt. What is the use? But if son will tell, no, father, whatever you will tell, I will follow that. With children. Then the father is very happy. See, I am giving wisdom to my son and my son is following that. So he becomes so happy. So like that, when we say, Karishya Vasharam Tava, I will act according to your instruction, then Krishna will smile. When Krishna will smile, then our life will be happy and perfect. Otherwise, it is going to be a theoretical knowledge. It will not help us much. Only if you take the medicine and keep it in the cupboard, you will not be cured. Only when you drink the medicine, you will be cured. Similarly, when you apply this knowledge of Bhagavad-gita in your day-to-day life, that you will destroy. So applying the knowledge of Bhagavad-gita, there is next class, very, very important class, that we will see practically how to apply the teachings of Bhagavad-gita. We'll have coming Friday, very interesting session. So don't think that with the 18th chapter, everything is completed. The practical application we are going to see in the next Friday. That will be the last class of this session of 18 chapters of Bhagavad-gita. So Nashto Moho, already discussed this one. And now Sanjay is predicting now 74 to 78. What is Sanjay prediction? Because if you remember the first chapter, this whole conversation is given by Sanjaya. He's having a divine vision. He's able to see the war happening in the Kurukshetra, the dialogues, the conversation. And he's explaining this to Dhritarashtra, who requested him to tell Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, Samavera Yutsavaha, Mamaka Pandavas Cheva, Kimakurutta Sanjaya. Sanjaya, what is happening in the battlefield? I am blind, I cannot see. Can you please tell me? Then Sanjaya, because of his mercy of his spiritual master Vyasadev, he is having the ability to see distant places like live IPL cricket match live. He is able to see what is happening. Then he is giving this whole conversation, what is happening there, live telecast to Dhritarashtra. Now, coming to the end, Sanjaya is telling his realizations of this discussion. He is telling what is that? You have to understand certain lessons also. Sanjaya acknowledges the mercy of Vyasa, by whose mercy he could hear the mercy. So, one's life, if you want to understand Krishna, spiritual master mercy is very, very important. And Krishna is the master of all mysticism. He is a topmost yogi. And Vyasadeva as a bona fide guru. And all these things about the importance of spiritual master is explained here. And here you can see Sanjaya in 76 recalls and finds thrilling pleasure at every moment. He's telling my hairs are standing when I'm recollecting the conversation which I am having, which I heard, which is between Sanjaya, Krishna and Arjuna. And I am, getting so much ecstasy. And he's giving this last verse in Bhagavad-gita, which is 18.78, which is the last verse, the concluding verse, the Sanjaya's opinion. He's telling, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, because the battle still did not start. But Sanjaya is giving conclusion to Dhritarashtra, telling this will be the result now. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruva Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, the master of all mystics, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, and wherever there is Arjuna, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir, Shri Vijayo Bhutir. That means there will be, wherever there is Krishna, and Arjuna means wherever there is a pure devotee, there will be certainly be affluence, Shri, Vijayo, victory, and Bhutir, and means extraordinary power, and Dhruva Nitir. And Krishna is telling there will be extraordinary power and morality. And Matir Mama means that is my opinion. That is Sanjaya's opinion. And that is the Bhagavad-gita's conclusion. Wherever there is Krishna, there will be there. Apparently, there may be some difficulties, but when Krishna is there, ultimately it will end in victory. So that means it is an indirect message to Dhritarashtra that your sons will lose the battle and Dharma will win and Arjuna will win because Krishna is in the side of Arjuna. So we have to understand that when they want to get the blessings and benedictions of Krishna before the beginning of battle, Duryodhana also approached and Arjuna also approached. So Duryodhana was standing near the head of Krishna and Arjuna was standing near the feet of Krishna. When Krishna was sleeping, Krishna woke up, he saw first Arjuna. But however, Duryodhana said, I came first. But Krishna told, I saw him first. But still, he told, let me give the priority to who I see first. So then he asked Arjuna, what do you want? So Duryodhana was praying that he should not ask the Narayani saying, the the army of Krishna. But Arjuna did not ask the army. Arjuna just asked Krishna, I want you to be with me in the battlefield as my friend. Then Arjuna accepted and Krishna accepted and Duryodhana was very happy. And when Krishna asked, what do you want? Then Krishna said, Duryodhana said, I want your Narayani Sena. That means your army. The entire army was given to Duryodhana, but Krishna without any army went to the side of Arjuna. And what is the lesson we learned? That finally, even though the army was there, Arjuna won because Krishna was there. So, one is God, one is God's property. The Narayani Sena represents God's property and Krishna represents the Supreme Lord. When you are hankering for God's property, the end result of our life will be ultimate failure. But if you are standing by the side of God, ultimate end of our life will be victory. So, spiritual life means standing with God or being with God. So, we are in God's party, that is called spiritual life. And material life means we are on the property side of the God's property side, like affluence, wealth, wine, wealth, woman, and all those things. Ultimately, it will lead to the destruction of Duryodhana. Like that, our life will be ending in failure. Very, very important message. We also have the choice to make in our life whether we want Krishna or Krishna's property in our life. If you are taking Krishna consciousness, we are on the spiritual side, we are taking Krishna on our side. If we are just leading a materialistic life without any spiritual culture, then we are trying to take the property of God without God. So then it will end in failure. So the Bhagavad-gita is not like any ordinary book written by some mundane author. It is the Lord's own potency of knowledge by which he enlightens the fallen souls. One who studies the Gita, therefore, experiences direct association with Lord Krishna. So whenever we read Bhagavad-gita, we get inspiration, we get guidance. We should not think that Krishna is no more in this planet. But when we are reading the words of Krishna, Krishna is personally present in his Vani also. One who hears properly becomes Krishna conscious. He can see Krishna in all things. Therefore, his life becomes exciting and wondrous at every step. So this is an acronym. Today we discussed where Krishna is smiling at the end, Arjuna is smiling. And by this, applying this knowledge, we can also smile in our life. And we can quit this life, going back to home, back to Godhead, by becoming more Krishna conscious. So summary, we discussed the summary of the Karma Yoga, which is discussed in the beginning, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and the influence of the three modes about our sacrifice, happiness, and many austerity and all those things. And ideal worker as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, how I can perform my own nature, born out of my nature, and still satisfy the Lord and go back to him. And when we are working such an ideal worker, we eventually develop love of God. And by developing love of God, we will attain the spiritual world, which is spiritual kingdom of God, where we will have an eternal relationship with Krishna face to face. So that is the message of Bhagavad-gita, where we are, by the mercy of Krishna, we have completed the 18 chapters of Bhagavad-gita in a very easy way by acronyms. And hope you all enjoyed this session. And not completing with this, because Bhagavad-gita is eternal, we want to have a summary session next week, chapter-wise summary. From first chapter up to 18th chapter, we are going to discuss at a stretch all these acronyms put together so that we can understand the flow of messages, the wisdom part. Quickly we'll go through same time, maybe 60 to 70, 80 minutes we can go. That will be coming Friday evening, same 6 p.m. KST. All the 18 chapter summary in acronym format. Bhagavad-gita at a glance. Okay. So request all the devotees to participate so that you get the complete overview of Bhagavad-gita in just one single class and you can understand the flow, the essence and the conclusion of Bhagavad-gita. So thank you all for your attending all these sessions very interestingly and enthusiastically. I would also like to thank all the reference materials which I have taken for preparing the slide. Gita Life by His Holiness Swami Bhagavan Keshav Swami, World Pune by His Grace Madan Gopal Prabhu, and the slides taken from His Grace Abhitananda Prabhu, Bhagavad Gita slides. Hare Krishna. So if you have any questions, you are feel free to ask now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Sarvam Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So any questions or comments or suggestions on this chapter 18? So you are most welcome to ask. You can unmute and ask question, or if you want, you can type in the chat box. Or if you have learned some lessons which we are discussing in today's chapter, please try to feel free to express it, because the way you express, it will get more enlightenment to others and also inspire and motivate others. That is also a seva which you are doing to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Don't feel shy. You can always express your comments. Hare Krishna. There is one comment from Ankit Shukla Prabhu. Thanks for nice session. We feel more confident now after attending these sessions. It was a different style to present with acronyms, which makes us more easy to understand. Just elaborate Shloka 18.66, Sarvadharman Parityaja. At that time, there was only one Dharma, Sanatan Dharma. So which Dharma Krishna is asking to give up? Dharma as a father, Dharma as a husband. It was highlighted to keep on performing duties, Kartavya, but at the same time detached from the results and surrender. Thank you once again, Krishna. Very nice question, Ankit Shukla Prabhu. So what Dharma is Krishna is telling? All the Dharma. All the Dharma means, see, you if you are not giving the role of a father, father has some responsibilities to perform, but you expect some results out of that because I'm a father, I'm doing this, let my son do like all these things, then it is actually binding. But we think that this child is given by Krishna, let me give him good life, quality life, protect him, nurture him, also develop him spiritually. That is actually Krishna consciousness. And what Dharma at that time, there was only Sanatana Dharma, but what Krishna is saying, there are like a lot of demigod worship is happening, lot of like we have our Kula Dharma, there is Tri Dharma, there is Raja Dharma. All the Dharma has to be performed. But when you are surrendering to Krishna, then you are relieved from all this Dharma. For example, see, when you are paying income tax, what happens? That income tax is distributed to all the police department, welfare department, so many departments, your money is being distributed to protect you and serve you. So you are only paying income tax to one department and they are distributed. Like that, if you don't surrender to Krishna, you are obliged to perform all this karma. All this dharma you have to perform. But when you actually surrender to Krishna, then as per the Shastra, there is no need for any obligations to worship any demigod or do any kind of special, all the dharma are relieved because Krishna is satisfied, Yasmin Tushte Jagat Tushtam. All these things are automatically getting nourished. It is a simple example in Bhagavatam, it is said that when you are pouring water to the root, the complete tree gets nourished. So when you are worshipping Krishna, everything becomes perfect. All the dharma becomes perfect when you have this bhakti process, surrendering process. Otherwise, you have to perform all the dharma which is required for the for smooth functioning of the society. But if you are becoming a devotee, you become a very ideal citizen also. By that, you become a very good person. I will tell you one quote. They say that if you are, famous quote, if you are not part of the solution, then you are part of the problem. This is a famous quote. You can Google and see. If you are not part of the solution, then you are part of the problem. By becoming Krishna conscious, you become part of the solution. And by not becoming Krishna consciousness, you become part of the problem. Because part of the problem means we are trying to exploit the resources of God, and thereby we are contributing to the pollution of this world. And thereby there is a global warming. People are suffering. There is war. There is famine. There is natural disasters. There are incurable diseases in this world. All this is part of the problem because of our materialistic mindset. But when we become spiritual, Krishna consciousness, then we are trying to become part of the solution, whereby we are trying to please God. When God is pleased, Yasmin Tushte Jagat Tushtam, in return, He will make us happy, He will protect us, and He will guide us back to home, back to God. Hope that is actually clarifying to your query, Prabhu. So, Sarvadharman Parityaja, that's why Krishna is telling, leave up all this dharma, just only easiest way, Mahamekam Sharanam Raja. I will take care of everything. Like in a company, CEO is telling, just do what I am saying. I will take care of your promotion, increment, everything. Tomorrow he is saying, 10 days don't come to job. No need to go because CEO is telling. No, no need to go. But if you don't, for CEO's instruction is not there. If you don't go, they will cut your salary. Right? So it is like that. The CEO is saying, he is a CEO of this entire universe. He is a controller, he is an enjoyer, he is the owner. CEO of the universe is Krishna. Okay, controller, enjoyer, owner. He is telling, if you surrender to me, I will take care of it. So our job is to surrender. It is like a child who is crying without mother. As soon as you put the child in the mother's lap, the child stops crying. So similarly, when you get connected to Krishna, all our hungerings will stop and we can experience peace and happiness by the mercy and blessings of the Lord. Okay, Hare Krishna. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, Prakash Prabhu. Thank you. We are very happy that you are attending our satsang program
Yes,
very sincerely. Yes, Prabhu.
thank you, bro. And very first of all, our sincere gratitude about this class. And we are by grace of Krishna, Lord Krishna, we almost concluded 18 weeks of this Bhagavad Gita,
Yes, very
and
good.
very blissful and very happy also. And
Very good.
we always appreciate your some efforts, great efforts, taking this
Very good.
class. And I have
Also,
seen in
request.
the satsang also, you are continuously with you are coming early and you are going late. Even we are coming late and we are going early. This is so maybe a
Our,
blessing.
our, our, our service is very, very insignificant, Prabhu. If you see, there are stalwarts. Like
Yeah,
Prabhupada, he did like at the age of 70, he crossed in a cargo ship and he went to Western world and, he was cooking personally for 300 people alone. He was
yeah,
preparing
yeah,
chapati, rasagulla. Now we
yes,
are sitting in online, very nice,
yes,
comfortably, we are giving
yes, yes,
class.
sir. Yeah,
Our service is very insignificant when compared to big, big acharyas. And even in ISKCON, there are like great devotees,
yeah,
spiritual masters who have given their time, effort, their whole life. They have
yeah,
adopted. They become Prabhupada disabled at the age of 21. Now they are all like 70 years old. 50
yeah,
years, they have given their life to Prabhupada mission. So when they compare to that, we are not even like a grain of sand.
yeah, right. And
So
today the class is very clear about the Tyaga and Sannyasa. It's very
yes,
clear to me. It was,
yes.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And one more thing which I had already, our Suklaji already, then you already explained about Dharma. Like Krishna is
Yes.
saying surrender to me, not like any other demigods like that.
Yes.
So, but still we uh, do the prayers for others demigods also.
Yes. Prabhu, in that I want to add one point. It is not
Yeah,
wrong that we do prayers,
yeah,
but we should always ask that we should understand Krishna's position, Devata position. We are our praise, Vancha Kalpataripascha, Kripa Sindhu Devacha, Paddana Pavani Vaishnav. They are actually the servants of the Lord, Vaishnavas,
yeah,
Vaishnavis. So we can pray to them that I want Krishna Bhakti instead of doing some material transaction. Because material things, it is said in the scripture that whatever you are destined to get, Prabhu, you will get. Even without praying, God also you will get. Because that's why you see, even atheists, they're getting whatever comforts. Even they don't pray to God, right, bro? They don't
yeah,
pray to God.
mhm,
Even sometimes they insult God also. But
yes,
whatever you are destined to get, you will get in this life. For that, no need to ask any demigod, but rather if you go to a demigod temple, you can ask that I should progress in devotion to Lord Krishna. Like that, we can ask. So they will not feel offended. They will be very happy for that blessing. If you ask for business transaction, they may not be happy or they may not. We can always, when you go to any demigod temple, you can pray that you are a glorious servant of Krishna and you are doing so much service for this material world. Please also help me that I should become a pure devotee of Krishna or should progress. If you can pray to Lord Ganapati to remove all the obstacles on the path of devotion, like that, in a very
yeah,
positive way, you can pray to them.
yeah,
Yes, those are stepping for God.
Yes, because we have that mindset. We are from childhood, we are praying to many gods. So it is difficult for us to. That's why when Prabhupada preached in India, many people, they did not like, when they went to Western world, they have very clear concept there is only one God. Whether you are take Christianity or Islam, there is only one God. You should never equate that Supreme Lord. They say there is no God but Allah. Means you should not equate anybody equal to Allah. Same way for Jesus Christ, like Christ also, Christos. So they say the Christos word, actually Krishna word actually is coming from, that word Krishna eventually become Christos. Because there is only one God, creator, the Supreme Lord. All others are like angels or demigods. They say angels, we say devatas. 33 crores of devatas are there according to our Vedic culture, Vedic scripture. So we cannot pray to every one of them. We know some primary gods we are praying from childhood. But we can always ask them that, please bless us that we will develop in our bhakti. Please show us. If you pray to any demigod, Prabhu, that you show us the right path, you can check. They will eventually lead you to Krishna. Any demigod, if you pray, they will lead you to Krishna. If you ask some business transaction that I want this, then there's a different dealing. But if you ask them, pray to them, sincerely show me the right path, they will eventually lead you to the lotus feet of Krishna. That is practically experienced by many people. Because whoever is now in Krishna consciousness, they all pray to demigods. No, not that everybody from childhood they are devotee of Krishna. No, they all
right,
were eventually praying to some demigod. Gradually, it is like going from 6th standard to 7th standard, 8th standard, 9th standard. So we were also praying, everybody. Then gradually we come to the next standard. It is not that, oh, if I'm 8th standard, I feel shy that I was in 4th standard. No, it is a part of the gradual elevation of the soul, journey of the soul, that first it will not believe in God. Then after a certain period of lifetimes, it will accept some authority like a demigod. Then after worshipping demigod, after a certain lifetimes, it will get some purification. And then Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanaman Mam Prapadyate Vasudevam Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. After many, many births and deaths, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanaman, who is having knowledge, Mam Prapadyate, he will surrender to me. And then he will say, Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Everything is Krishna. Sa Mahatma, he is called as Mahatma Sudurlabha, very rare to find in this world. So naturally, you will find very less devotees in Krishna consciousness. But here, the benediction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this Kali Yuga is first 10,000 years is considered as golden age, where there will be lot of Krishna devotees will be there because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. You go to any country, you might have seen in YouTube, but all they are doing kirtan in Russia, London, Paris. How they all become devotee of Krishna? They are not from this background. Even in our own satsang, we have a Muslim devotee who is coming week after week, very sincere. He is chanting. No, people come. So there is a book called Krishna, Muslim people who are actually Krishna devotees. There's a book written. There are a lot of people from a different religious background. They were Christians, they were Muslim. They all accepted Bhagavad-gita because Bhagavad-gita is not spoken for any particular religion. Bhagavad-gita is spoken for humanity.
Right.
Bija Prajapitha. Krishna says, I am the seed-giving father, not for any particular class of people. Everybody, father is only one. Path is different, but father is only one. So in that way, Prabhu, it is we can pray to the demigods to enhance our bhakti. Avancha kalpatarabhya, that prayer is always there.
Yeah, we also experienced it, Prabhuji. When 4 years we had been there in Washington, New York. There we seen the many people are just in the. There is one university next to that. They are just sitting and singing and Krishna or Lord Krishna. Yeah. We are so happy. We met with them that time, and we are also very happy that.
So many people, Prabhu, they are inspired when they see this, when they are traveling to other countries. They are very, very inspired and happy to see that people are singing kirtan on the road. Yes, you know, especially Westerners, no? Yeah. So they never heard about Krishna from their lifetime. Yeah. Only after coming to Krishna consciousness, they become Krishna devotee. That way, Prabhupada said one important statement, you reminded. Prabhupada said that before I went to Western countries, there were a lot of people who taken Bhagavad-gita to America or London. You know, Prabhupada, many sadhus, they traveled. But nobody became Krishna devotee because Krishna was not glorified in Bhagavad-gita. The main subject of Bhagavad-gita is Bhagavan Vacha. That is not told, only the wisdom is given. So nobody became Krishna devotee. But when Prabhupada went, he written Bhagavad-gita as it is. He just said Manmanabhav, Madbhakto means become devotee of Krishna. Then everybody become devotee of Krishna. Then it spread like a rapid fire. Because you did not change the message. If you change the message, what happens? It becomes diluted and the potency is lost.
Yes, sir. It will not reach that.
It will not reach. And one more point also I want to tell. When Prabhupada wanted to start this movement, many people told, don't keep ISKCON. No, this ISKCON was registered in Los Angeles, in New York. Sorry, no, not Los Angeles, New York. So at that time, they said that if you tell Krishna, people will not come. So his disciples told, you keep International Society for God Consciousness. So then many people will come. But Prabhupada said, no. When you say God, God is a generic term. Who is God? Nobody knows. Yeah. So everybody think they are worshipping God, that is the same God. No. So he told, people should know who is God actually. So he told, I will not keep God consciousness. He told, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. This is how this name was framed by Prabhupada, ISKCON, 55 years before. He said, people should, because if you say God, people who are worshipping the village, they have a village God. They will tell, this is also God. No, they are Devatas. But who is actual God? Actually, it is actually Supreme Lord Krishna according to Bhagavad-gita, Bhagavan Vacha. So that's why he established this called International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Means you are always conscious, means you are always conscious of Krishna. Manmanabhav Madbhakto. You are at foreground, you are doing your work, material duties, you are going to office, you are saving money, you are building house. This is all fine. You are taking care of your family. But internally, your mind should be connected to Krishna. Means you are aware of always Krishna. So that is how you are doing is either by reading Bhagavad-gita, associating with devotees, like we had Kirtan Mela also. You know, we are trying to engage our spare time in connection with Krishna. Thereby we can spiritualize our life. Nice point, Prabhu.
Yes, man. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you for
Yeah.
thank you for that. Thank you, Mataji, also.
Yeah.
Both are coming sincerely to our satsang program. We wish and pray that you should regularly associate and on a fast track basis, you should develop in bhakti. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. You are giving us such a good opportunity to come satsang also. By your words only we inspired and came there. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Mataji. All the
I
glories
have
goes
one
to
doubt.
Krishna.
Yes,
India is the place where Krishna is born, Rama.
Vrindavan.
India
Yes.
only that.
Mataji, what is your question? I did not hear. Sorry.
Actually, she is telling that Rama or Krishna, their birth in India only. Like India is like a holy place. And
Yeah, correct. Very valid point. See, the whole world, India is a spiritual hub.
Yeah.
You can see anywhere you go to Rishikesh, Haridwar, Vrindavan, Mayapur. In Mayapur, there are 70 nationalities, Mataji. They are living there. Their children, they are studying school. 70 nationalities are there currently. So, anywhere, if you are going to France, Germany, it is for your studies or for job. Nobody is telling that I am going to Germany to search God. Nobody is telling I am going to America to search God. Why you are going to America? For studying, higher studies. Why you are going to America? I got a H-1B visa for software job. Nobody goes to any country in the world for spiritual purpose.
Right.
They go to uplift their economic status. But everywhere around the world, as Mataji rightly said, people are coming. If you go to any holy place, you can see Westerners there. They are coming in search of God because India is the guiding beacon for the entire world in path of spiritual. Prabhupada said our strength is spiritual knowledge. So you should actually get full benefit by encashing this spiritual knowledge. The whole world can be guided in the right path. And Prabhupada said one more analogy also. The Western world is like a strong man, but he is blind. The Western world is like a strong man. You see Western, very strong, well-built, height and tall. But they are blind. But the Eastern, our Indians, they are like actually, our knowledge is like, we are actually having good eyes, but we are lame people, means we are handicapped people. So they are telling together the combination of the Western world, the strong man will lift this lame man on his shoulder. So this lame man can show the path so that the strong man can reach the right destination. So he is telling that Eastern world and Western world should together work in cooperation so that we know the right path. We are going in the right path. So both together we can achieve success with this joint collaboration. That's why Prabhupada has given this knowledge to the Western people, because if he is giving to India, this knowledge will not be spread. He given this knowledge to the right people at the right time. It is like if you are running in a 2000-meter running race, after a certain distance, you are actually giving that something you hold in the hand, no? You will give to other person, right, Prabhu? Then that person will carry and run. Similarly, Prabhupada at the end of his life, he knows he is going to go very soon, 70 years. He taken this knowledge and given to the right person and he left the planet. And those people, they went all around the world and they preached. And now nobody can destroy this knowledge. It is everywhere. It is, and you cannot say that there is one country, this country, there is no Bhagavad-gita. Even in China, there is center. In Korea, there is center. In Japan, there is center. Cambodia, there is center. Thailand, there is center. Singapore, Malaysia, Mexico, Venezuela, any country you name. There is a center, there is Bhagavad-gita knowledge, there is Bhagavatam class every day. There is wonderful prasadam distributed. There is Harinam Sankirtan, outreach, book distribution every December. So many things are happening, Prabhu, because of mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is an incarnation of Krishna in this age of Kali. And he predicted that my name will be chanted in every nook and corner in the world very soon. And that prediction came true by the Prabhupada, that he taken the Lord's name all over the world.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Last but least, and when we are in satsang, some people are asking like different questions, which our mind is not catching up. So that's also very clear. Today, one of Prabhuji asking Hare Krishna. So we are only chanting Krishna, but you explain that Hare means
Radharani. Yes.
Radharani.
Yes, very important point. Yes, Prabhu. Because always when a child wants something with the father may be in good mood or bad mood. We don't know. If he is definitely in a bad mood, he is not going to give. So the mother, the child will ask if the father is not in good mood, the child goes to the mother, right? And mother knows when the father is in good mood, and accordingly he will tell, very in a matured way, and he will get the job done. So Hare means we are not directly approaching Krishna, because Krishna is very tough. So we are going to the merciful form of the Lord in form of Radharani, Hare, and then we are requesting through her to engage in some kind of devotional service to them. So nice point, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Sorry we took long time. Thank you so much.
No, it's good. It's good. People are sharing their realization. It's always good that others also getting inspiration. And I'd like to thank all the devotees who are
Your
attending.
words are like honey, we're here, like that. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Because you are interested, Mataji, it is like honey. But those who are not interested, they will not like my voice. Hare Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna. So thank you all who are staying. Trivikram Prabhu, Ravi Prabhu, Prakash Prabhu, Gopa Prabhu, Ankit Shukla Prabhu. So let us all meet again next week, the last concluding session of all the 18 chapters. We can see in acronym. So we'll again have this class next week. So thank you all. We wish you again wonderful, happy Krishna conscious week ahead. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpataribhascha kripa sindhu bevacha vidhana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Kodi Vaishnavanta ki jai. Grantha Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. So thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.